How's everyone doing, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, I've not been dropping as many videos recently. Been having a bit of downtime and stuff away from the vlogs, but I read a story yesterday in the Manchester Evening News about an independent monitoring board review of Strangeways with statistics coming out and stuff. Serious failings across the prison. Now, I've been in Strangeways. I was in prison in Strangeways from 2014 to 2015. It was my first time in Strangeways, and it was my first time in prison as a whole. And I've tried to get this story out myself about there's a mice infestation within the prison. There's rats on the yard, and there's also pigeons as well. But the local paper, the Manchester Evening News, didn't run the story because the prison denied the story. But anyway, this independent monitoring board story's come out, which shows that serious failings across the prison. Little education, next to no jobs. Like the cells, you've got different, like you've got your single cells, yeah, and you've also got your doubles, right? But your doubles, yeah, sometimes you can have a separate toilet, right, which is like attached to your cell. But that's if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, you've got the metal carsy. Now, if you're on a bunk bed and stuff and you sleep with your head nearer to the window, right, behind you there's a metal carsy. Literally, your padmate could be on the toilet, and he could actually like stroke your head or slap your head because he's that close to you. People eating in close proximity to the toilet. Toilets are broken. The sanitation's broken within the prison in certain cells. They've had to close cells off. They've had to close 16 16 showers on one wing because they're not working. Amy, who are the company that have got the contracts and stuff, are taking unacceptable amounts of time to fix repairs and stuff. The servery hot plates tripping out and stuff because of faulty electrics. Cells have got faulty electrics. Like I say, people are having to heat food in the cell where the toilet's blocked or the toilet needs fixing because they can't flush it. And they're having to eat in close proximity to the toilet and stuff. Windows are broken, right? And obviously it's getting to that time of year where it's getting colder and stuff. Winter's on the horizon, innit? So that's that. There's little or no education within the prison. The lift for disabled prisoners to get up to the library is not working. I've never actually seen this lift, but apparently in this report this lift's broken, which is stopping like disabled prisoners getting up to the library and stuff. When you're in prison, guys, right, you need to keep your mind occupied, right? Whether you buy some matchsticks and you're making like you can make gypsy wagons, traveller wagons, or you've got to keep your mind occupied, and reading is a big thing, right? So if you can't get books from the library, then or you're not having books sent in or something like that, you've got boredom in prison can be a killer, especially in Strangeways, guys, where it is 23-hour bang up. Boredom can kill you, guys. Boredom can drive you up the wall. When you're in prison, guys, right, a lot of people in prison got mental health issues and stuff, right, and have got a lot going on up here, right? They're away from the friends, they're away from the family, they're away from the kids, right? And they need to keep that mental stimulation going, because if you don't, what happens? You start to think, you start to dwell, it takes you to bad places, you contemplate suicide, you self-harm. Record numbers of self-harm in prison within the last 12 months, 40,414 incidents, guys. Like I say, so the lifts are not working, the windows are broken, CCTV cameras are broken. The prison's not fit for purpose, guys. The conditions are squalid, they're inhumane. If I was a prisoner, I'd be citing a breach of my human rights because of how degrading. How are you supposed to have good morale when you're in a cell like that with the toilet blocked, right? You're eating in a closed cell. You eat all when you're in Strangeways, guys, right? You don't get out for your breakfast. They give you your breakfast packs at dinner time for the next day, right? You go down, you go and get your food. You walk across the hot plate. You go and get some stale old bread, right? Because it's been left out all day. It's oxified and it's like crusted. Go back to your cell. You'd eat behind your door, right? You might, if you're lucky, you'll get out in the afternoon for an hour. They prefer to put you on the yard, right, for exercise as opposed to putting you on the wing, because they need more officers on the wing than they do to stick two screws on a door, watching you walk around in an anti-clockwise fashion, right? What's annoyed me with this IMB report is they're saying, oh, 89 attacks from prisoners to prison officers, right? What about attacks from prison officers to prisoners, right? And then the IMB is saying there's a direct correlation between understaffing and attacks on staff. Not necessarily, right? Attacks on staff happen for many different reasons, right? Mental health problems play a part. If the prison officers give a lad a kick in, prisoners have got a long memory. That could be another contributing factor. Prisoners attack the uniform because they're mad at the system, but they can't get out the Ministry of Justice and the system. So they see the uniform of the prison officers and that's what they attack. I'm obviously not condoning attacks on prison officers, but it does go on. I've got nothing positive to say about HMP staff. I've been in private prisons, guys. I've been in Forest Bank twice and I've been in Strangeways once. And I've got nothing positive to say about HMP staff. They swap the personality for a set of keys, some epaulets, and that's just the simple way of it. There's little or no jobs in the prison. It is a working prison, but you're lucky and you are blessed if you get a job in the prison and stuff. Education is next. Rehabilitation doesn't take place in Strangeways. It's as simple as that, guys. You're thrown in your cell. You were locked up for pretty much 22 to 23 hour days. My experience was mainly 23 hour bang up. That starts mental health problems, and if you've already got mental health problems, it makes them a lot worse. This report just shows that the Strangeways prison here in Manchester, which is the only Cat A here in the northwest, is not fit for purpose. It's run down, it's squalid. AME, who have got the contracts for the maintenance and stuff, they're taking unreasonable amount of time to fix problems and stuff. The fact is, the prison's derelict. It's run down and it's dilapidated. It's in serious state of disrepair. But like I say, no one cares about prisoners, do they? No one cares about the suffering that prisoners are going through. You're in prison, right? Prison's your punishment, right? You're having your liberty taken away. But then for me, prison should be a place of rehabilitation, skills, education and training, so that when you leave prison, you've got all the skills there to be able to rehabilitate yourself, get a job, get a sense of self-worth, pay tax back into the system. But you're locked up, you're thrown in prison with 22, 23 hour day bang up, you're kicked out with £46. People leaving prison homeless. People are going to prison having never taken drugs in their life and are leaving in prison in body bags. It's a sad state of affairs, guys. And then people are astounded when you say that reoffending costs £15 billion a year. If you're kicked out the door homeless with no support network, no family, because a lot of prisoners don't have support networks and family, kicked out with £46, people are shocked when they go back to crime and stuff. They've got nowhere to go, 46 quid in the pocket. As soon as that 46 quid dries up, to feed themselves or to feed the drug habit or alcohol habit or whatever habit they might have, a lot of people don't have habits. They go out, they commit crime, they get recalled or they get breached and they go back to prison. The revolving door keeps twirling and twirling, doesn't it? It's just the way that it goes. But yeah, the prison system, guys, as a whole, it's failing. The Ministry of Justice are failing prisoners families and failing prison officers. The state of that, the prison officers are free to leave and go home at the end of the night. Prisoners have to live there, right? Yes, you're in prison, right? Because you're going to get these people from the right side of the track. Oh, you're in prison, it's a punishment, right? The punishment's having your liberty taken away, being away from your loved ones, being away from your friends, being away from your family, might be losing your property because you can't pay the rent and stuff, and you've been evicted. People in prison, right, have been through a lot in their lives, right? I'm not, obviously that doesn't vindicate like committing crime and everything like that, but like I say, you're in prison, that's the punishment, right? Then you should leave prison in a better place than when you went in. So sadly that doesn't take place. People leave prison with addiction. People go to prison having never taken drugs in their life and are leaving drug addicts or worse in body bags. Self-harm, fucking 40,414 incidents in 12 months, right? A prisoner at Strangeways in the last few months severed his own penis with a razor blade, chopped his penis off, gone. Can't reattach it, it's gone. And that's mental health and everything else, guys. It kills me, guys. This is the reason why I campaign for prison reform. This is why I like email MPs. This is why I direct message MPs. This is why I do the interviews with the media, because if I contact the media and say, right, there's a story about this prisoner at this prison, right, like that he's been given a kicking, or about the conditions or something like that, or treatment of prisoners within prisons, the papers will contact the prison. What will the prison say? The Ministry of Justice, guys, have got a blanket policy. We do not discuss individual cases, right? That stops stories getting out. That's why I do the interviews. This is why I do these vlogs, to help people, educate people, and advise people. If that helps them in part, then that's fantastic. That's why I also lobby MPs. This is why I'm going to start writing letters. There's a lot of people. I'm just one small cog in a much bigger machine, guys. There's a lot of people. Former IMB members like Faith Spears. You've got Francis Crook from the Howard League of Penal Reform. You've got former prisoners. You've got female former prisoners. There's bloggers. There's vloggers. there's a lot of people doing a lot of good things, man, when it comes to prison reform and stuff. If you've got someone in prison, guys, please join the campaign, jump on the bandwagon, and support us. Everyone's got a voice, everyone's opinion's valid. There's a lot to be said for the state of prisons as a whole. With Strangeways prison, it's something very close to my heart, having been in that prison. Prisoners are suffering immeasurably in that prison and stuff, and then prisoners' families are going through the mire as well. And like I say, it's just a dangerous prison. But 22 prison attacks on prison officers are going up, right? Assaults in prisons in general are going up, right? Prisoners are getting out for less time, but assaults are record. Like 89 assaults doesn't sound like much, but when you're only getting out for on average about an hour a day, right, and you're thrown onto the yard, it puts it into perspective, doesn't it? When you 1 hour a day, 89 assaults on officers, just on officers in the last 12 months, right? And like I say, I've got a problem with HMP prison officers because they swap the personality for a set of keys. That's my honest assessment. That's my honest opinion. And I stick to that. When I've been in private prisons, aka Forest Bank and stuff, right, I've had a much better relationship with the prison officers in that prison. They treat you as, you have got bad officers, yeah, and I'm not no screwboy neither. You have got bad officers, but there's all you get treated better in Forest Bank than you would at Strangeways. I.e., you get spoken to like you're a human being for the most part, anyway. But yeah, this report, guys, on Strangeways, is disgusting, to be honest. But they don't care. They really don't care. It's a Victorian prison, and apart from the 1990 riots where Alan Lord and Paul Taylor and the rest of the prisoners, John Murray and all them, took over the prison and everything, the only thing that's changed really is sanitation's been changed. Then eventually TVs were installed in cells and sanitation and running water. Apart from that, guys, nothing's changed. I don't know how good order is kept within the prison system, within Strangeways particularly, because to be honest, right, people just, I think the idea is that there's not going to be a revolution within prisons because people are so downtrodden, are so broken from what they've been through, and the morale how low morale is within prisons for prisoners because of the treatment, because of the inhumane conditions and stuff like that. There's rats, there's mice, there's pigeons, there's, like I say, the prison's just broken. People are broken, the system's broken, failing everybody and anybody within that system and stuff, and it's a sad state of affairs. Like I say, for me, for the prison system to change, it would take another Strangeways riot like in 1990. Now, I hope it doesn't come to that. But like I say, I think the prison system, I think they think if we treat them that bad and put them in that inhumane conditions, that it'll break the morale, it'll break them as people, and they won't want to rise up and challenge the prison system. But yeah, I would be citing a breach of my human rights because of the inhumane conditions, the squalid conditions within the prison. The paper says it's reported as a Dickensian England. It's Victorian. We're in 2017, guys, right? And the prison is run down, it's dilapidated, and it is, like it says, Dickensian England. It's Victorian in every regard apart from a TV and sanitation. But like I say, it's not really sanitation, is it, when the toilets are broke, the toilets are blocked up. Now, if you can imagine, right, we've just come through the summer period, right? The windows in Strangeways are very thick, right? So the heat coming in magnifies it, right? If you've got a toilet just below your window and your toilet is blocked, right, and you're waiting weeks, even up to a month, to get that toilet fixed, right, and you've got to piss and defecate in that toilet, just imagine the smell, guys. Cells are being put out of bounds, they've been roped off, like been closed, double locked off, because the fact is that the cells are not fit for purpose, and they can't keep juggling everyone. So people have got broken windows. I swear to God, Manchester, it's always rained in Manchester. That's like a thing, it's a known thing, right? And prisoners have got broken windows. Shower blocks are broken. Right? The water's freezing cold. The food portions are tiny. You get spoken to like shit by the screws, right? There's little or no education. Rehabilitation does not take place, guys. The prison's split into two parts. You've got the top bit of the prison with the notorious K-wing. Then you've got the bottom bit of the prison, which is induction. You've got the nonces. Oh no, the nonces are on the top part of the prison now. They're on G-wing. No, they're not. Yeah, they're on G-wing. You've got induction. You've got, like I say, you've got your drug-free wings and stuff like that. You've got the lifers wing, all that sort of stuff and everything. But it's just a sad state of affairs, guys. If you've been in Strangeways, please feel free to comment below. Let me know what your experiences of Strangeways are. Let me know what you think about the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.